was engaged in Africa, so I need some space to be free in my head and with my body. So I started yoga and I started kite surfing. And when I'm on the sea, I don't think anything. So I'm totally empty in my head and I just enjoy.
So is it
being...
like a meditation?
Yes, it is. It is, but the only thing you are concentrated is the wind and your technique to move on and not to collapse because it's a risky sport.
Right. When did you start kitesurfing?
So 7 years ago. So my daughter, when I told her I start kitesurfing, she said, "Oh, Mom, you are too old. It's a risk sport, so you can't do it." I said, "Oh, I can do it." Mm-hmm. And then now I'm not professional, but I can stand it.
This is Collective Drift. I'm your host, Erica Vernay-Knowles. This platform was created to celebrate all women, the beauty of their cultures, and international travel experiences. Welcome to Collective Drift. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Collective Drift podcast. So glad to have you here with me. Collective Drift is taking up AARP's challenge to reinvent what it means to age. Remember, what you do after 50 can be just as amazing as what you've done before 30. It's time to disrupt aging. This is the first of 3 episodes in partnership with AARP, highlighting amazing women from around the world who have disrupted aging. Go to aarp.org/disrupt-aging to learn more. This interview is with Sandra Christmann. She is a 52-year-old German woman that disrupts aging by 1,000%. She's a mother, an art powerhouse, kite surfer, world traveler, and she's even started a school for children with hearing disabilities in Kenya. And right now, in addition to being an opera scout, her main job, she is the head of strategic alliances for Art Dusseldorf, an amazing art fair that I had the opportunity to experience last November. The next Art Dusseldorf will be this coming April, if all goes well with, of course, coronavirus. So everyone, please stay safe. All right, it's time to listen up.
First of all, thank you that you visit me here in Germany and traveling from Miami. So I'm very honored. Thank you very much, Erica. Yeah, my name is Sandra Christmann and I'm 52 years old. I was born in Germany, and maybe regarding my career, I started studying German, linguistic, and the science of media, and Italian. And after I studied, I went to the IT branch. Mm-hmm. So I was PR and marketing manager, and I noticed that I have some talents, but the product wasn't sexy enough, or not interesting enough for me. Right. Although I didn't understand it. I had no idea from this technology, but I was successful with the marketing. So I decided to find a project I'm closer to, and I was always well connected in art. So many friends of mine were artists and gallerists, and so I chose the way to go into the art. Mm-hmm. And I worked at the museum. So I was at one of the famous museums worldwide, which is Kunstsammlung Nordrhein-Westfalen. Mm-hmm. With a very huge international focus, of course. It's classic, modern, and contemporary art. I was there for 13 years as a general manager, responsible for sponsoring. And last year, I decided to go to an art fair, the Art Düsseldorf, which already is a startup. It's now the 4th year this year, and it's focused on contemporary art. So this is the career way. And shall I move on? I'm talking so much. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, you're fine. So you talked about the career of you. So tell me about the personal of you.
Of course, yes.
Tell me about your background, your heritage, and like your personal journey as well.
Yes. So when I was very young, 25, I was pregnant. And now I have a 26-year-old daughter. She is doing sport and French. She's studying. And I was divorced very early. So I was married for a few years. Then I was divorced. And then I was always very engaged with my girlfriends around me, with the women around me. So I was I was working with a child and I was doing my career, and personally I had the feeling that I can, with my strengths, I can help also others. So a few years ago, I started with some friends to support deaf children in Kenya. So I'm a kite surfer. This is my passion. So I'm traveling pretty much around, and I was in Kenya and we noticed that children who are handicapped have a really, how do you say in English? So their way is much stronger. So we noticed that the Christian and the Muslims children in Africa got schools, but not the children who are handicapped. So we found these children. We were in the bush. We traveled around, and we noticed there are children who are deaf, and they don't really have the possibility of education. So shall I move on with this issue? Yeah.
So you were kite surfing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a kite surfer because I have so much energy here in my head. So when I wake up, I'm one of the people I wake up and I think, okay, what can I do here in this world? And as I'm working so much, as I educated so I grew up with my child. I was engaged in Africa, so I need some space to be free in my head and with my body. So I started yoga and I started kite surfing. And when I'm on the sea, I don't think anything. So I'm totally empty in my head and I just enjoy.
So is it like a meditation?
Yes, it is. It is, but the only thing you are concentrated is the wind and your technique to move on and not to collapse because it's a risky sport. This and yoga is where I'm getting down. Yes.
Centered and down. How often do you get to kite surf?
I tried. So sometimes at the weekends I go to Netherlands and I do longer holidays, maybe twice the year. So I go to
as well?
Yes. So I go to Brazil or to Kenya, of course, where the school is, because there's also the kite sport. Close to it's 3 hours in the south of Mombasa. And I go to Portugal and Italy and Spain. So there are a lot of spots worldwide. And I take my daughter with me. She's also a kite surfer. And her friend.
When did you start kite surfing?
So 7 years ago. So my daughter, when I told her I start kite surfing, she said, "Oh, Mom, you are too old. It's a risk sport, so you can't do it." I said, "Oh, I can do it." And then now I'm not professional, but I can stand it.
Pretty good.
Yes.
So you mentioned age and your daughter saying like you're too old to try something new. And you mentioned you're 52 years old. How do you feel about age and being a woman?
So it depends. It's a daily challenge. So sometimes I wake up because I don't know the word in English. I'm in the menopause now.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Do you know this?
Yeah, menopause.
So when this started, I was, okay, wow, you're now 50 years old and what is it about? So sometimes I have to do with my age because I feel something in my body or I see something in my face this year. I don't wrinkles, is it something like this? And I noticed, okay, you're an older woman now. And on the other day, I say, okay, it's bullshit, right? Because I'm better than ever in my brain. I reached a lot. I raised my child. I did a career. I have friends and family. I'm very sportive. I have so much ideas. I'm very creative. And when I look back, I'm very privileged. I was not growing up in a privileged. So when I studied, I have to work for it. Nobody paid my study. So everything I reached, I did by my own. But I'm privileged because I grew up in a country where I have the possibilities to do this. You can, as a woman, you can study, so I'm not in a country where women are not allowed to study, when I cannot go out and be a single and be self-confident. So I'm privileged to, here in Germany, that I grew up here. I always had a full refrigerator. When it's cold, I do this heater on.
To be cognizant of that, I think it takes leaving, like you're saying you went to Kenya and you could see that these kids didn't have the opportunity. And do you find that women who haven't traveled aren't as aware of this privilege?
Maybe yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think first is when you travel, you open your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I also think it's a character and being reflected
Mm-hmm.
to notice how the situation for women is
Mm-hmm.
in the world. So this is character. I mean, you have to be open-minded.
Right.
And you can also be open-minded when you're not traveling.
Right.
But of course, traveling around the world makes your brain open. So the people I'm talking, they don't see what I'm doing with my hands. I did this. Yeah. Okay. So it's.
But like a snap.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, yes, it opened my mind because when I was in Africa, I see that especially the girls,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they have another role there.
Right.
It was difficult to also accept this other culture. It was easy to, when I went into the supermarket, I was traveling with my daughter there, and she sent me an SMS when I was on a safari, and she said, "Oh, can you bring me tampons?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Okay, I have to stop in Mombasa and I will find tampons." So I went into the supermarket and I asked the women, do you have tampons? And they said, "No, we don't have it."
Right.
I said, "Well, we don't have tampons."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "No, we don't have it. Most of us are from another religion,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not allowed."
Mm-hmm.
So then I was in the situation. I went to the general manager and I said, "Why is it not allowed? It is usual, and we need it, and la 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 la." So he didn't went into this discussion with me.
Right.
And I brought something else for my daughter. I went back, and there were two things happened to me. The one, I wanted to discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little bit angry. And on the other hand, what I learned is to accept this other culture.
Right.
And to accept that this is not a European standard,
Mm-hmm.
that this is another country and another educations. And I guess the challenge for me also with the school was to be more sensitive, also with the acceptance. Mm-hmm. And if you want to change something, which I wanted, because with the school, we want to give handicapped children, but especially also the girls. We have now 50 children there, and there are 40 children are boys.
Okay.
So we also have a focus on getting the girls into this program. So
what is the name of the school?
8 Kenya Watoto.
Okay.
And it's in Shimoni, close to Shimoni.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have there a 10 hectare country. And we built 3 buildings. We have 50 children now. We have, how do you say, personnel? So
staff?
On our we have staff on our payroll who are taking care, so teachers. And we have from the USA, from the Peace Corps, a former volunteer who is now the project manager since 6 years. And yeah, we started with 6 children.
Wow. So you started with 6 children.
Yes.
And this was, how old this was?
This is 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
It's grown a lot.
Now it's at a point where also the government is supporting the project. So we supporting it with sponsors and fundraising activities. I did it with we sent a photographer over there, and then we sold the pictures in a gallery here, and the money was going 100% back to Africa. Yeah.
Wow. So when you first started this, you were there, you were surfing, you saw this problem, and you thought, okay, you want to fix this, you want to help this. Maybe not fix it, but help this.
Yeah.
Did you see it being this large at that point?
No. So we were what we did, we went to so we bought some food. We went back to them because we saw they just had a water soup sitting there, 6 children with a nanny, and we went back and we brought some rice and vegetables or something like this. And they were so happy, and so they always, when we went there, they were lucky and funny and curious. They touched my hair. I'm blonde. I mean, I was a white person with blonde hair in the bush, and this is how it started. And then we supported. So I did this with a friend of mine, Tino, and we started to send some money to the teacher monthly to give them food.
Okay.
And then he asked us, we also need more. We need some medical. And so this developed.
Right.
And then one day I said, okay, we have to do it professional. Let's do a foundation and do it really right. I'm German. Well, so we do it very like this. We have a lawyer. And you need 7 people to do this. So the regular stuff to do is like this. And then I asked friends and everybody said, well, wait, I mean, the first 50 euro. 50 euro was the salary of the nanny for the night, to take care for the children of the night. So 50 euro. This is what I'm spending when I go out for a bottle of wine. Yeah. And it's not for a month.
Okay.
And with this money, she can take care for her family.
Wow.
So you have to see. So for us, first, it was very easy to support this project.
Right.
But now it was growing. And today we need 50,000 euro per annum.
Wow.
Which is pretty much more, but which is easy to get, to be honest, when you do some fundraising activities, when people get a sponsorship for a child. To be honest, yes, I don't have so much talent, but what I can do is when I'm engaged with something, I can motivate people to do something, and I'm really well connected, not only in the art scene, but also with companies, because my job was always the boundary between art and business. I'm always doing sponsoring, strategic alliances, something like this. Yeah.
How did you become connected with the art world?
So this starts very early. So I always personally was interested in art. And friends of mine, so most friends of mine when I studied German were artists or starting a gallery or something. So I was always in the art scene. For me, always, I'm an opera scout. So I always have to write articles about music here in the opera. And so I'm always was connected in art and in the cultural scene, because this is also what makes me happy. I mean, for me, it's the love and the culture, what makes the people happy. So when I started at the museum in Kunstsammlung, I was totally into it, yeah. I met artists every day. I noticed how a museum is working. I got some insight in the political stuff of culture. Yeah. So I'm always in there.
Wow.
In the art.
Speaking of culture, and let's talk about your culture and where you grew up here in Germany, in Düsseldorf.
No, I was born in Essen, which is pretty close to Düsseldorf. And after I finished my high school, I went to Düsseldorf to study here.
So who were the women that influenced you, that made you you? What were some of the things that they did or how they acted that made you who you are?
Okay, so first when we talk about my mother, she inspired me because she is, and we still have a close relationship, a very strong person, because she left my father. So nothing bad happened, just that she decided when I was 14 years old to leave him because she wasn't happy.
Okay.
And this is many years ago. And she took me and she said, okay, we are leaving now. You will meet him whenever you want. But now I go working, because formerly she didn't work.
Right.
So what I learned from her really, and what I gave also to my daughter, is that you are responsible for your own, that you have your decisions, that every decision you do is, we have a German word, I don't know the English one, every decision you do, you have a Kollateralschaden. So everything you do is bringing you something good and of course something bad.
So
you have to stand it.
Right.
Yeah. This is maybe what I got from my mother. And when I look today, there are a few women who inspired me. For example, my former boss, Marion Ackermann. She's now the general intendant of the Dresdner museums, because she raised her children. She was a director of the museum. She has also been very political. And so she was someone from a women and professional perspective who inspired me. Then there are women in the history who inspired me. So like Coco Chanel, of course.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I love her. I read everything about her. And like Peggy Guggenheim, but also women who are engaged in charity. This is also, I'm doing more than this Africa project. I'm also engaged here at the Düsseldorf. So people who are, so it's an organization who is taking care for people who have HIV, HIV. So I'm also supporting. You see, when I talk, I'm going to this, and you ask me for women who inspired me. I'm reading a lot of women who are in business, who doing a career, who are engaged in a special project. You inspire me. You sent me an email. Hi, I'm Erica from Miami. I want to talk to you. And I was like, what? And then I saw you at the art fair. You came to my ladies' lunch. And this was so cute. And I told this story someone. So here's a famous PR manager in Düsseldorf, is Alex Ivan. And I told her the story. I said, yeah, she's from Miami and she wants to do a podcast with me. And she said, tell the others, stand up and tell the others, introduce her. This is something I really love, I also love, what I really love and what I noticed that so many women are so not like, but very open, and friendly and want to know something about each other. So I appreciated this very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, I really appreciate it. That was a great event. And I got to meet some of the women there. And I was sitting with a woman that was American. So she's like really interested in sitting with me. And she like has a castle now. I was like, wow.
I know.
She's the chair of Art Düsseldorf, right?
You mean Gräfin Beisel?
Yeah.
She has a castle, of course. And she's also very engaged in doing charity for children and
What is it to mean to be like a German woman? What defines a German woman?
So what I told you, Germany, and on the one hand is you have the possibilities, so you are free. You are not forced by some law stuff or religious stuff. So it's a democracy. So as a woman, you have all possibilities. On the other hand, of course, if you look, there are still 80% of men in the CEO positions, if it is in the business or in the arts scene or wherever. But I think you have not only Germany, but in Europe, you have also in Northern Europe, where you have huge quality of life. I think, so for example, the social system, it's very strong. So when you lose your job, or also the health insurance or something like this, you have a very well net here. So I feel safe and secure in this country. But also we are not at a point like other countries with digitalization, of course, also with this stuff that the next generation, I guess, have all the possibilities to be a CEO, to be everything. My decade has to fight a little bit more.
So I ask a lot of women, like what questions they would ask other women. And one of the questions is, why didn't you tell me this? What is something that you wish another woman would have told you? Or is there anything?
Really, there is something. There's something I told my daughter a few weeks ago because she was struggling with, she's getting a teacher for sport and French and she wasn't sure to do it and she was very desperate. And I told her that was, listen to me, you are 26 years old now. Today we have a situation that no woman, which is not true, has to stand, but for her, here in Germany, no woman has to stand in a situation, private or job, when she's not happy with it. So you can leave it. You cannot do another decision. If you do not want to be a teacher, don't do it. If you want to cancel now your exam, cancel it. You have a net, you can come back. I support you, whatever you do. So I guess this is what I want. Nobody said this to me. And maybe this would be that someone, I find it out by myself. But that you can do and decide whatever you want. Just be aware that maybe you get some trouble, but then you have to stand it. Please. But this is also something, yeah? Sometimes you have to stand something, yeah? Not everything is easy. Also for me, it wasn't easy when I was divorced, I was alone with my child. I have to work, I have to be for my child. So I was a mother, I was a professional. It wasn't every time easy, yeah.
Your mother said, as the English term for it, every action has a reaction.
Yes.
This is what your mother did.
Yeah, I think there's no wrong decision.
Okay.
You do what you do. I mean,
and
you don't know what is happening tomorrow.
Right.
Your house can burn, or you find the love of your life.
Yeah.
I'm still searching.
And
I'm not searching. I guess we will meet one day.
We will. That is freedom, knowing that you have the choice.
Yes, that
is true freedom, and you're giving that to your daughter now. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Didn't you just love that interview with Sandra? Thanks so much for listening to part 1 of this episode. That was such an amazing interview. Sandra, thank you so much for joining us.
Did you enjoy that episode? Click a thumbs up right now or go ahead and definitely hit subscribe.
In the next part of this episode, the conversation gets even more fun as we find out in detail about all the amazing places Sandra has traveled to during her wonderful kitesurfing adventures. Sandra also talks about her view on female strength and what she would love to ask women all over the world. So make sure you stay tuned for the next episode.
And thanks again to AARP for partnering with Collective Drift for this amazing series of episodes of women that are disrupting aging.
And remember, you can find Collective Drift on Instagram, on YouTube, and of course on collectivedrift.com. If you're looking for Sandra, you can find Sandra on Instagram. And of course, you can check out the Art Dusseldorf website, which is art-dus.de. And if you'd like to make a donation to Aid Kenya Watoto, you can go to aidkenya.org to make a donation. Of course, all of this information is in the show notes.
Thanks again for listening, and remember to stay tuned for part 2 of this interview with Sandra coming to you soon. Ciao, or as we say in Germany, tschüss.